I have right here via Skype a very special guest. He is former WWE superstar Kurrgan, a.k.a. Robert Maillet, who stars in Brick Mansions in theaters now alongside the RZA and the late, great Paul Walker. He's joining us today. A hell of a busy schedule over these last few months. Actually, last few years. I mean, starring in Pacific Rim, Sherlock Holmes, Brick Mansions, Hercules coming up. What have these last few years been like for you in the acting world?
Well, it's been awesome. I had an amazing experience since working on those projects, and I've been very fortunate. To be able to work with some amazing actors and working on those huge films. It's been the last couple of years. It's been good, one thing after another, and I never thought it was going to be that busy. But like I said, I've been lucky, and it turned out those films did very very well. Did big hits. So, and it was just lots of fun. I'm enjoying what I'm doing. So hopefully continuing it for a while, as long as I can. But I mean, very lucky to be working with those amazing people, the casting, So I've been pretty lucky.
Yeah, and how long did it take you to get to the point where, at least as of the last couple of years, you actually know what your next gig is? Because I've talked to a lot of actors before. People have gone from sports or wrestling to acting, and they say the hardest thing is knowing what your next gig is, knowing when your next job is, when your next paycheck's coming in. When did you get up to the point where the work became truly consistent?
Well, I think it started when I was when I got offered the role for Pacific Rim. I knew it was going to it was starting to get busy, and because at the time I was working at a full-time job. I had to pay the bills, and wrestling wasn't really cutting out for me. It was becoming less as interested in it for some reason, and it started to slow down. So I had to find a real-time job at home, back in the East Coast of Canada, where basically the place where I grew up. And so I've been offered to go do some film work and stuff, but I couldn't leave my job either at first. So I had to have two gigs, really. Able to take some time off from work, asking my boss to take some 2 months off to work on the film. So not every bosses could say yes and would agree to it, but luckily my boss was. He understood why I was doing it, why he understood the opportunity I had. And so I was able to do it, like 300 to Sherlock Holmes. I was still working on my 9-to-5 job. So when I was done with those films, I was able to come back. But what happened, I was offered the role in Pacific Rim. The company I was with wasn't really, they wanted me to make a decision, either to do the acting full-time or be with them full-time. They didn't want me to take the time out to do it, which is understandable. I was an employee. It's only fair for the other employees for the company. So when I was offered the role, and when Guillermo del Toro offered me the role, it was a tough decision to make, knowing if I take the role, I would lose my job. And but luckily, I found an agent, and there was a couple gigs I had as well that I won one for TV as well for Once Upon a Time, and I did one for Transporter, the TV series based on the films, Transporter films. And so it was busy enough for me to say, all right, I can leave my job, my cushion, I would say. And ever since I've been busy. There's one TV or film after another. That I don't have. I basically didn't have to go back to my old job. So I've been fortunate so far.
And that's great to hear. Now, Brick Mansions is currently in theaters. You star alongside the late, great Paul Walker and the RZA of Wu-Tang Clan fame. And for those that have not seen the film yet, can you tell us why they should go see the film, and tell us about your role as, I hope I pronounced this correctly, your name in the film is the Yeti? Or Yeti?
The Yeti, yeah, the Yeti. Why? Well, if the fans love action I love parkour. It's about parkour. It's mixed with gymnastics and stunts and fighting and using the environment around you. It's about David Bell, who's based in Paris, in France, but he's one of the co-founders of parkour. And the original film that the Brick Mansion is based on, Banlieue 13, they call it, but they call it District 13. It's all him, pretty much. Him and a lot of parkour action, a lot of stunts, jumping from one building to another, walking on walls. Amazing, incredible stuff without wires. Stuff they would see. Now they haven't on most of the action films lately. Like I'm thinking about the James Bond movie, the Casino Royale, the opener. A lot of jumping on the construction sites, and so pretty much that's one thing you should see. It's incredible stuff they're doing that he does with his body, dangerous stuff. And the film is great because it's based in the not too far future, based in Detroit, and where the city is divided between from gang lords to one on one side and the government on the other side, and it's a race against time because Paul Walker plays the undercover cop who's trying to has to get through the Brick Mansion to try to get a bomb, defuse a bomb they have that one of the gang leaders, Riza, has. Trying to use it for ransom, trying to get money out of the government. And so he sends him, Paul Walker's character, and then David Bell's character, which is kind of a street thug who has his own purposes of trying to get into Brick Mansion, trying to save his girlfriend from Riza's clutches, And so it's a lot of it's just action, full blown action. A lot of fights, a lot of gun shooting. It's kind of mindless entertainment, pretty much. If you want to suspend disbelief, there you have it. So it's a lot of fun. It's a fun film to watch.
And this film also, unfortunately, is the last complete film of Paul Walker's career. Just briefly, if you can you describe what it was like working with him? Because he seems to be universally praised by his peers in Hollywood.
Yeah, well, I was fortunate enough to, of course, share scenes with him. Of course, there's a big fight scene between me, my character and his character, and David Bell. But there's other scenes as well where I kind of push him around, shove him around. And so I had a few days with him on set. And for me, I was fascinated because I knew who Paul Walker was, obviously, big leading star from Fast and Furious, and I was curious. I wanted to ask some questions about how he dealt with it and all that. So he was awesome. He was great, very nice, very open. It was great. It was nice, a good guy to talk to. He wasn't recluse. He didn't hide in his trailer. He was, on set. He liked to talk to the boys, to the guys, and with me, I was at the time I was going to go to a Pacific Rim premiere in L.A. And I just asked him how it was, how crazy it's going to be, because he's pretty familiar with all the red carpets, venue stuff they had to do. And so we had a little chat about that, and then I told him thinking I might get a car to drive around LA, rent a car. And then he offered me a car to drive around with. And, basically telling me whenever I'm in LA to let him know so he can give me a car for a few days. I couldn't believe it. I didn't expect that answer at all. But what happened afterwards, I had to say no because they never had time to do it. The car. We only had a few days with me and my wife, and so we didn't need a car at all. But the offer was very generous of him to do. And thinking about it now, I wish we did take up on his offer. But no, he was just a gracious guy, good guy to work with. So I had some good memories of him on set.
Yeah, and it's great that at least people can honor his memory by watching that film and Really, I've talked to a number of people that have done acting before, and they say that one of the reasons they love acting is because they feel like a lot of the things they do on screen end up being timeless. Like, for example, I interviewed Diamond Dallas Page once about a film that he did, and he said, in this film, I'm going to be 42 years old for the rest of my life. And now with the advent of the growth of Netflix, the creation of the WWE Network, where you can access footage as old as 40 years. I mean, do you feel like that's the case with any of this video and acting and entertainment, that when you do something on screen, whether it be on TV or film, that you kind of have a sense of immortality a little bit?
Well, for sure. I mean, I grew up in watching films all my life, really. I love watching the movies and watching wrestling as well. Of course, growing up watching it. So I get the sense of that, because I love classic films. Films I grew up with, I love to rewatching those. And you watch them, and then you realize how old you are now. It can make you feel old. But how you can really do preserve time and space in the film. Can it revert? And what story does, what the film does, it kind of reverts back, trying to get you to be in that world. That's all to do about storytelling. If you're involved with the character and the story, so the story can be timeless. And that's why they call it classic movies. Wizard of Oz was made 70 years ago, and it's a beloved film. People love to be part of that world over and over and over again. So yeah, films can be magical places to hide in, or to escape to escape, because they're timeless. And it's kind of freaky though when I see, especially my matches, wrestling matches and stuff that I did 15 years ago, and how young I was. It's kind of weird and sad.
Hey, man! You've aged quite well. You have aged gracefully. And I'm actually wondering, do people still call you Kurrgan or recognize you as Kurrgan all these years later?
Some do, sure. Some do. It's been since 14 years ago since I've been on the WWF TV, one of the programming. But internet, man. Just the internet just keeps it alive. Even the WWE Network now. And still people want to bother to see my old matches on it, that is. But I still get recognized by Kurrgan, Mostly now, most of the films I did now, like Sherlock Holmes is one of the big ones I get recognized for. I still am called Kurrgan, still get recognized, It's funny. But, which is great. It's amazing, the fans and dedications, the great fans out there, and I'm not ashamed of it at all. I'm very proud. I'm very lucky to be that I was with the WWE. It was a dream of mine for the longest time. I loved watching it back in the late '80s, and then I decided to be one. I wanted to be one. It took a while. It took a lot longer than I thought it was going to be, because it's a tough road to get there. But when I did, I was pretty fortunate. I made some great friends, traveled all over the world. And the benefits that come out of it. I don't think I would have made it as an actor if it wasn't for wrestling. So I'm very proud to be part of it. That I used to be a WWE superstar. It's not everybody that can say that. There's a lot of wrestlers, people that I know, friends of mine, they're a lot better than me. But they never had a big break with them. So I'm pretty lucky. Very fortunate.
Definitely. Now, I'm just wondering, do you still watch wrestling?
Not really. Not the new one. I don't really follow it like it used to be. I like to keep up what's going on. I do check the wrestling news and stuff. I think I'm more interested in what's going on in the backstage than what's. I like that. Once in a while, I am still a wrestling fan inside. I still love wrestling. But lately, I've been watching a lot of older matches. Probably the stuff the era when I was there, or even the era when I was always fun to watch. And so that's I got a kick out of that. It's always fun, to reflect on it years later and then rewatch it again. You have a different perspective, I suppose. But not the new stuff, not as much. But for some reason, I don't know why I kind of lost passion for it over the years. I mean, I used to follow it Even though I was still wrestling for them, or if I was still wrestling independent, I was still following the WWE and stuff. But I don't, not lately though. Maybe I don't have time. Maybe I don't have cable. That's one good reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm still curious. So I'm happy it's doing very well. It's still around, which is a great thing.
Now you're starring in another film this summer, which is surely going to be huge, starring alongside a guy by the name of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson in Hercules. This looks like one hell of a film. Can you describe that experience?
Wow, it was a great experience. The kind of the last minutes when I got the call and they wanted me for a small part, and I said yes, of course, because I knew how big the film was going to be. I heard of it, but I heard of it before I was offered. I knew of it obviously because the Rock kept doing putting his pictures on Twitter, but. I knew how big the movie was, and how was The Rock, and of course, as the lead of Hercules, big movie. So I was pretty nervous and exciting to be part of it. And it was all shot in Europe, on Budapest, outside of Budapest. Huge studio, and huge movie, huge production, huge sets. It's unbelievable. And I was able to meet The Rock. And first time in years since the WWE days, and it was great. We were able to, give me a hug. How you doing? We chatted for a little bit about reminiscing about the old days, back in the Attitude, the Attitude era, I suppose. And that was it, really. I spent a couple of weeks there, so. Never really had time to hang around because he was always a busy guy, shooting, training, all that stuff. But it was cool to see him again after all these years and how well he's doing. But the film is going to be just unbelievable. Action and battles, and the Rock is bigger than ever. He's a lot of he's a very disciplined guy. The training, the stuff he had to go through to play that role. It's incredible, but it's going to be a great, fun escapism film. It's a big Hollywood film. It's a big, so it's going to be big when it comes out. So I was pretty fortunate to be part of it. But yeah, it's great working with I worked with Ian McShane to, John Hurt, so amazing actors to work with. So I was pretty fortunate.
Fan question number 1. What is your favorite wrestling moment as Kurrgan?
As Kurrgan, I think when I was part of the Oddities, and we had our biggest match of our career, I suppose, at SummerSlam '98, and that was in New York at the Madison Square Garden, actually. And there was a big match for us. And, of course, in front of a New York crowd, in front of the big pay-per-view event. So I was just nervous and excited at the same time. And when we pulled that match, we pulled it through. We did the best we could with that match. It was mostly a comedy match with Kai and Tai, the small Japanese guys. But at the end of the day, the agents were very happy with it. They were very pleased with it, how well it went. So this is good to have a good memory of that. It's a good thing to have. My other Kurrgan moment was in my hometown in Moncton. They did a tour. We toured Moncton, the area in Canada, and finally stopped in my hometown. And I had my fans, my family, my friends out, and they all cheered. Even though it was a heel, they all cheered for me, of course, and it was a great moment. It was you can't forget really how, saying that I was going to make it, I wanted to be a wrestler, and finally realizing my dream and wrestling in front of my fans, my family, my friends. It was a very special moment, So that's some I have more memories, but I can go on and on. But those are the highlights.
Fan question number 2. Have you ever wrestled anybody taller than you?
I have. It's not fun. I did wrestle the Undertaker, but I was kind of taller than him, big man himself. But I was probably I had an edge over him for the height. But taller, I did wrestle. He was part of our team actually, Giant Silva. He was part of the Oddities, and we wrestled together against each other in Mexico. We spent a couple months in Mexico, where I was built me up as the lead heel, and he was the lead babyface. Finally, had a match together at the end, a big match, and the toughest guy. He's a tough guy to wrestle, really. I remember him. It's pretty intimidating when you're the smaller guy in the ring. It is pretty intimidating, you know. It's not every day I see that in my life.
Well,
so.
now you know how everyone else feels when they had to fight Kurrgan.
Absolutely. No, it's you know, only in wrestling when you see big guys, when you see face to face. You know, there's a lot of big guys when I was there. You know, it's so. You know, I didn't really feel like I stuck out as a giant. I felt like an average guy, you know. But yeah, there's some big guys. But you know, it makes you feel grounded a bit. You know, you're conscious about how other people see you, I suppose. You know, the way I see it when I see a guy taller than me or bigger than me. But that's fun about it, though. It is fun. To make the best out of it, you know, to find up, especially in a wrestling ring, you know, take advantage of it, and because they're there to watch action. I was a heel, so of course I was afraid of them. My character was supposed to be afraid of him, trying to avoid him, but in real life, I think I was really afraid of him. I didn't want him to hurt me. But I remember he was going to do a big splash. He's pretty agile for a big guy. He's going to top rope and splash on me for the finish. And I was lying down on my back in the ring, seeing this 7'1", close to 400-pound guy just flying like, you know, off the top and, you know, basically flattened me out. And that's what he did. You know, it was tough. I made it through though. I'm all right.
You made it through and you lived to tell about it. All right, sir. Well, we'll get you out of here on this. What's the best piece of advice you could give anybody getting into show business?
Be yourself. Be yourself. Really. That's the number one thing. And work hard. Just work hard at it. Just work hard. Don't give up. You know, like in life, there'll be a lot of setbacks, a lot of different directions than you didn't predict that won't go your way sometimes. So just stick it out. Just stick through it, you know. Just be stubborn. If you really want it, if you're really serious about it, you want to do this, you stick to it, you know, because the harder you work for it, you know, it's going to pay off eventually. And like I said, just be yourself. You know, I'm very lucky where I grew up. I still live there. I live in a small community, you know, in a rural area. And my parents and have a lot of good friends. They really grounded me, you know. And so I don't tend to believe a lot of the bullshit, you know. The first thing, I think I learned a lot in wrestling. The wrestling, it's easier to believe in your own hype, what's going on, you know. And your own gimmicks, you know, you believe your character, which is the wrong way to do, because you think you're better than anybody else, but you're not. You're there as a team effort, you know. But it works the same way in showbiz. You're there to provide work, to help the story, to help the storyline, to make the story better, to help the scene better. You're there to you know, your contribution to it, you know, to help out the story, and that's what you're there for. And just be you. Just be the nicest guy, and open-minded. You want to do it 100%. You want to work hard at it, and and you have to be a lot of luck involved in it as well too. A lot of luck involved. In the right place at the right time, and have a good attitude. And something will happen.
Well, it certainly seems like you've put that advice to good use. Robert, thank you so much for the time. Fans, if you want to follow him online, you can follow him on Twitter at Robert_Maillet. Sir, thank you so much for the time. Best of luck and everything. Looking forward to checking out Brick Mansions in theaters, and later this summer, Hercules.
Thank you very much. And look up for The Strain as well. Guillermo del Toro, The Strain on FX. I play the master. So it's a great series, exciting series to be part of, and fans should look out for that one too.
Definitely. Check him out on Twitter and IMDb. Thanks so much, Robert.
You're welcome. Thank you, Fred, very much.